Going to record this now. Cool. Welcome to the Total Health Equation podcast. So, a bit of a I don't know if you don't know who I am. Hello, my name is Chris Hughes. I go live into a Facebook group every Monday. I try to anyway. I'm going to record podcast episodes. Try to do once a week, maybe even multiple times a week. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Sometimes life gets in the way. Like I said, so, having a child eats up a lot of your time. And so it took some time for me to feel confident that I could actually come back and really do this consistently. And so here we are. Yeah. I apologize if you hear me sniffle a little bit, or maybe my voice gets a little like nasally. It's because I was sick last week, and now my wife and daughter are sick. I infected them with the plague, and now I'm here. So yeah, I apologize if I have to like cough or whatever. Hopefully, I can get rid of it in editing. With that being said, but if you're watching live, then you get the raw, uncut coughs in your ear, and you're gonna love it. But yeah, oh man, a little bit of an update. We are so close to trying to find out what's gonna happen first. Whether whether Elia, my daughter, is going to walk or crawl first. She is so close to both right now. It's so much fun. Yeah, she's blowing our mind right now because like if we stand her up, she can actually stand just fine. But if we like, she can't get up on her own, but we can stand her up and she'll stand there for a little bit and be like, ah, like be like super ecstatic. She kind of waves her hands a lot and falls over, but she's when we're holding her there, she's trying to throw her hip forward, like she's trying to take steps. It is insane. And just this morning, my wife sent me a video of her in like downward dog. So like she's using her legs, she's getting her hips up. She just needs to move forward with her hands. So it's like it's a race. Is she gonna crawl first or is she gonna walk first? God, I'm so excited. Yeah, super cool. Although today oh man, she just turned 6 months old, so she got her 6 month shots, and God, the guttural cries that come from her when she was getting her 6 month shots breaks me every time. Every time I become a blubbering mess. By the way, they're like in the next room, so if you hear just random like that's it's just in the next room. And if I just stop to laugh, that's why. Yeah, cool. A little bit of an update for myself, my own training, my own nutrition. If you saw my post earlier when I talked about what foods I keep in my rotation a lot of steak, salmon, eggs, blueberries, avocado, spinach, stuff like that. Really super filling, micronutrient dense foods that really help keep me feeling full has been saving my life here. Same with the Crave meals, like Crave microwavable meals. There's like a loaded potato breakfast steak one, delicious, so good. 5 minutes in the microwave, super convenient. So if you're like a busy parent and you don't have time to meal prep, grab like one of those microwavable Crave meals and just toss one in the microwave. 5 minutes, take a bit to cool down, heat it up. Sometimes I cook scrambled eggs and spinach and I throw that in there too. Amazing. Very filling, high in protein, probably close to like 45 50 grams of protein with 3 eggs in it with the spinach and stuff like that. So good, really filling, very quick and easy, doesn't take a lot of time. So if you just don't have time to meal prep, it is a phenomenal option. Make sure you drink lots of water, make sure you're very active. There is lots of sodium, which isn't much of a problem when you have potassium rich foods involved with the sodium foods, which potatoes are. And it's a loaded potato thing, right? There's like almost 600 milligrams of potassium. So you're doing really good. So don't worry about the sodium. Drink lots of water as well. Make sure you're hydrated, and the sodium won't be a problem. But it's a super quick, very delicious, high protein, low calorie. I think it's like 360 calories. Fantastic. But yeah, so just kind of with the combination of all that and moving and running a mile every day on top of my regular strength training, I'm down 6 pounds this month so far. We're not even at the end of it. It's 27th or 27 days in, and I'm 6 pounds down. So yeah, strength is still stable. My Olympic lifting is really coming along. And then beyond that, I'm reading a book, which I'm actually going to talk about later. but it really got the ball rolling for actually this live training and this podcast episode. If you're watching the video, it's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's basically all about reinventing yourself, right? Reestablishing better thought patterns and basically coming out the other side a more idealized version of yourself, and how to actually create the version of you that you want to become. And really, that's all we're doing, right? Because I say all the time that as we are, as we're going through this journey, and this can be pretty harsh, a brutal truth kind of thing, we don't deserve it. We do not deserve the weight loss that we're after yet. And that's a really big distinction to make. We don't deserve it yet, because if we deserved it, we would have it. Right? Because, but the problem is that we don't live the lifestyle that comes with getting that result. So when we look at the result, we look at setting goals and we talk about goals. I want to lose 30 pounds. Well, whenever I ask somebody, hey, so if you lose 30 pounds, and you don't look any different, but you don't feel any different, are you going to still be happy? And they go, well, no, of course. Like, of course I wouldn't be happy if I don't look any different or feel any different and I've lost 30 pounds. I would feel very discouraged. It's like, yeah, because the 30 pounds isn't the actual thing that's important. What's important is all the things that come along for the ride, all the things that you think losing 30 pounds will add to your life. That's the thing that's important. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about actions, right? Because what are all the things I think are going to improve when I lose 30 pounds? I'm going to be sleeping better. I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to be more present and stable with my children. I'm going to be able to be more involved with them, run around and play with them, set a good example for them, all these wonderful, beautiful things. My clothes are going to fit better. I'm going to feel more confident. I'm going to feel incredible in a bathing suit, right? All these things, these are all the things that we think are going to come along with losing the 30 pounds. So now we have to look at those things and be like, okay, what are the things I need to do to create that? Right? Because I currently don't, which is why I don't deserve it. But the person who does live 30 pounds lighter, who has all those things, they are doing things differently. They earned that 30-pound loss. What is that version of me doing? And that is what breaking the habit of being yourself really helps you do, is help you learn how to rewire your brain to actively chase the life that you want for yourself. And today, it actually bleeds right into this topic. Today, we're talking about the 12 common traps that cause self-sabotage. And these are called cognitive distortions. And what these are, they're basically like mental funhouse mirrors, right? Like they're ways where your brain can really twist reality and make you see things in a way that isn't entirely constructive, true, or at all helpful. These distorted thoughts often cause unnecessary stress, self-doubt, frustration, especially when it comes to things like weight loss, fitness, or just improving your health altogether. Imagine this, like you're looking in a mirror after a long week of eating healthy and working out. And instead of noticing that your clothes are fitting better, you instead focus on one small thing, like your stomach still not being as flat as you want. I'm really guilty for this, really guilty for this. But you think, what's the point? Nothing is working. That is a cognitive distortion. What's the point? It's not working is a cognitive distortion. Your brain is magnifying and zooming in on the flaw and ignoring all the progress. I'm really bad for this one. I don't know if you've seen a lot of the videos that I've been doing lately, what I'm posting on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that, is like the videos of me in the car that look up at me. Every single time when I'm editing, all I see is like my gut being pushed out because I'm seated, right? I'm hunched while I'm in the car looking at the camera. The camera's looking up at me. And so it looks like my gut is on full display. And so I struggle with posting those videos, but at the same time, it's the only way I've found so far to be consistent. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna make the video, I'm gonna post it, and no one has said a thing. I'm fixated so hard on my own flaws, but no one has said a thing. But people have responded very kindly. They've been like, I really needed to hear this today. Thank you for saying this. Oh, hey, thank you for the tip. Like people have been thanking me, making me feel great, but all I see is the flaw. Or another one is when I lost 80 pounds the first time. I went from 245 down to 165, 80-pound drop. I was so lean, so shredded. I could see veins on my abs, which I didn't even know could happen. And yet all I could see was every bit of fat that was still left on my body. All I could see when I looked in the mirror was still that 245-pound fat version of myself that I hated so much. Like that, talk about a cognitive distortion, right? That's a huge distortion. All I'm looking at are the flaws, and I'm not giving myself the time and love and appreciation of how far I've come. That's an example of a cognitive distortion. Like I lost 80 pounds, but I couldn't see that. I couldn't sit and congratulate myself for that. I just wanted to be leaner. That's a cognitive distortion that leads to self-sabotage. Speaking of which, I then threw in the towel because I hated myself still, and it was not sustainable. And like I was eating very little food. I was walking probably close to 20 to 25,000 steps a day. I was exhausted all the time. My hormones were out of whack. I wasn't sleeping well whatsoever. My energy levels were tanked, and my fitness was uh coming down. Like I wasn't as strong. I wasn't as fast. I didn't feel as mentally alert. And so I threw in the towel. I quit. And I proceeded to then gain 20 pounds a month for 3 months straight. I regained 60 pounds back. And I'm still fighting that again. Like that's the power of cognitive distortions leading to self sabotage. Here's another example. You eat one slice of pizza at a party and suddenly think, oh God, I've ruined my diet. I'm such a failure. I might as well eat everything in sight now and then just get over it, get it over with, and start again on Monday. Right? This is called the all or nothing thinking. Your brain assumes that if you're not perfect, then you've completely failed entirely. Yet we know that's not true. You've been good for the past 1, 2, 3, 6 weeks. You had one slice of pizza at a social event because you wanted to like relax a bit, but then you didn't relax and you started beating yourself up. Or let's say you're scrolling on Instagram and you see somebody who looks incredible and you think they probably have it so easy. I'll never look like that. This is the distortion of mind reading. You are making assumptions about someone else's life without any actual proof or evidence. The amount of people that looked at me when I was that lean and said, "Wow, you're so lucky to be able to be that lean. You're so lucky to be as jacked as you are." They've been lifting for 15 years. That's not luck, that's work, but you don't know that. You also don't know because guess what? Most people, most influencers, especially when they're really lean, 99% of the time, they're the most self conscious people you'll ever meet. Like I said, I was that lean. I had almost an 8-pack abs with veins on my midsection. And all I could see was the fat version of me. So many people made assumptions about me thinking that it was easy. And yet it was the hardest thing I'd ever had to work through. It was the hardest thing to ever keep up. You never know what's going on with other people. But we always constantly come to our own conclusions and assumptions based on solely on what we see. Cognitive distortions also just show up in everyday life, not just in health. Like maybe your boss gives you constructive feedback at work and you think to yourself, oh God, they must think I suck at my job. They probably want to fire me. Like that's another distortion called catastrophizing. Your brain is jumping to the worst case scenario instead of seeing the feedback as an opportunity to grow. These thought patterns feel real in the moment, but they're often exaggerated, unhelpful, and not based on any reality. The good news is that once you're aware of them, once you recognize them, you can start questioning them, asking yourself, is this actually true? Like, is the thought that I'm having actually true, or am I just being hard on myself? Based on past experiences, chances are I'm just being hard on myself. I need to calm down. And shifting that perspective can change everything. For example, instead of thinking I ate a slice of pizza, therefore I've ruined my entire diet, you can say, hey, you know what? I enjoyed a slice of pizza, and now it's time to get back on track. One meal does not make or break my progress. One salad never got anybody skinny, and one burger never got any fat. It's what you do consistently in each direction that matters. So when we start catching these distortions and reframing them, we then create space for kindness, growth, and the results we're truly looking for. So here are the 12 most common cognitive distortions that lead you to self-sabotaging your journey. Number one, I already talked about it, the all or nothing thinking. Believing you must be perfect or your efforts are a total waste, right? I missed my workout. I'm so lazy. I'll never be consistent. Or I ate a cookie. I'll never be skinny, right? All those sort of things. What we have to do here is a few things. Number one, we have to understand that progress over perfection. Progress over perfection. The perfect plan that only lasts you a week because you throw in the towel will always be outperformed by the moderate plan that lasts forever, right? I'll use two program examples, right? I said the other day, I said like a week ago, 75 hard isn't nearly as effective as 365 moderate. Look, you're a human being. Everyone makes mistakes. It's not about being perfect. It's just about doing your best. And recognize that the efforts you put in already start rewiring your brain to adopt these new habits. Don't quit. You make a mistake, you go, okay, I made a mistake. How can I improve next time? And then keep going. Zoom out. One meal does not define your week. In fact, if we're looking at a week-long progress, let's say we eat 4 times a day, 7 days a week, that's 28 meals per week. When we look at that, 21 meals, 28 meals per week, one of them is now only 3.6% of your entire week. Do you really think the other 97% is going to get overshadowed by 3? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. On top of that, you're not actually an all or nothing person. You've convinced yourself that you have to be. Because like let's think about it, right? If you're driving home from work and you get a flat tire, do you go, up, damn it, get out and slash the other 3? It's all or nothing, right? Probably not, because that'd be really dumb. Next, you drop your phone, get a little crack in the screen. Do you go, oh no, not okay, and then take a hammer and smash it to pieces? No, because that'd be dumb. Or how about if it's a Wednesday and you forget to brush your teeth? Do you go, oh, damn it, the whole week is ruined. I'm just going to pick up brushing my teeth next Monday. Probably not, because that'd be gross. And you probably wouldn't have any teeth left if that's how you thought. So understanding that the all or nothing thinking it's not helpful. It's not true. And it's another way to try and self-sabotage. The key thing to think about throughout all of these cognitive distortions is understanding that your brain is not your friend when you're trying to create change. Your brain is not on your side. It does not want you to change. Every bit of change, it considers a threat because it doesn't know the outcome of what you're doing. So it thinks it's a direct threat to who you are as a person, which means a direct threat to your safety. So every time you try to make change, your brain will always give you these voices in your head. Hey, don't do this. Hey, if you screwed up one time, you might as well give it up. Oh, the scale's up 2 pounds, might as well throw in the towel. And that's how your brain reacts. That's how your brain acts. That's how your brain communicates to you when you're trying to change. It's trying to find every possible reason to pull you off course. That's why I'm talking about these 12 cognitive distortions that will try to pull you off track and what to do about them, how to think about them instead so that you can stay on track, so that you can reach your goals, and so that you can finally lose that 25 pounds, add that shape and tone to your body, and feel the way you want to feel the way you imagine yourself feeling. Next, catastrophizing. This is assuming the worst case scenario. Example, if I skip one workout, then I'll gain back all the weight, or like I'll lose all my progress, or I'll get weak, or I'll lose all my muscle. Like, no, that's not quite how that works. Or like, if I don't lose this weight, I'll never be happy or healthy. And it's just not true. It's just focusing on the worst case scenario. It's overblowing the negative for really, it's not getting you anywhere, right? So reality check time. Missing one workout is a part of life. You're a human. You're gonna make mistakes. It's not the end of your progress. In fact, if you need to know, it takes about 4 weeks of complete inactivity before your muscle starts to break down. 4 weeks of complete inactivity before your muscles actually start to atrophy. You're fine. Taking a week off, you won't get any weaker. You might feel sore, like because your body got used to not training. So if you take a week off, then yeah, you're probably going to feel sore after your first day back, but not too much. It'll be easy to get back into it. So the idea here is to focus on consistency, right? I've been consistent most days. This is a small little bump. We all hear consistency is king, right? Consistency is what you do most of the time, not all the time. So just get back on track. There's nothing stopping you except you. Just get back on track. Next, black and white thinking. This is viewing food as either good or bad. Carbs are evil, sugar bad, blah, blah, blah. I got to eat clean. Oh, that's dirty. Like, I have to avoid these things in order to lose weight. That if I eat this thing, I'm a bad person, right? Number one, you got to neutralize the food. Remember, food has no more moral value. Like food is not, there's no morality behind it. It's just food, it's calories, it's nutrition. Food either has micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals, or it doesn't, right? If I have a Wendy's burger, there's no vitamins and minerals in there. There's a lot of fat, protein, and carbs. That's it. But me eating the Wendy's doesn't make me a bad person. That just means I got to enjoy something absolutely delicious and now I can just move on, right? That's it. There's no more moral connection, but we love to associate, right? So when I say this is bad, then when I eat it, I am a bad person. And therefore, if I'm a bad person, then am I worthy? Am I even worthy of this transformation I'm trying to get? Is this even worth doing? Because I just seem to fail all the time and all that sort of thing. But that's none of that is true. Understand that this you could be flexible. All foods can fit into a balanced diet. There was somebody who did a like I think it was like a 6 month study, like a 6 month single person did this test where they ate nothing but 7-Eleven food and they lost weight. Nothing but 7-Eleven food and they lost weight because their calories were controlled and they were able to dabble in some good, delicious food. Now, they felt like shit by the end. Their energy levels weren't great. They weren't sleeping very well. Their muscle mass went down a little bit more than it should have. I don't recommend doing this, by the way. I'm just saying that you can achieve your goals while including these fun foods. So have flexibility, the whole 80-20 rule, right? 80% of your nutrition should come from whole natural foods that you either had to kill or pull from the earth to get on your plate, or pull from like the ocean or whatever, stuff like that, right? 80% of your nutrition should come from the whole natural foods, and then 20% can kind of come from whatever you want. Like let's use a 2,000 calorie diet as an example because it's a nice even number. 80% of 2,000 is 1,600. So 1,600 calories should come from whole natural fruits, meats, vegetables, eggs, salmon, all these sort of things. And then 20% can come from Oreos and ice cream. It doesn't matter. As long as you're within that 2,000 calorie number, you will still reach your goals, right? As long as you're within your calorie budget, you're good. Next, overgeneralization, drawing sweeping conclusions from a single event, or I failed every diet, so I'll never achieve my goals, or I didn't lose weight this week, so nothing will ever work, right? It's when you apply like a big, broad thing to this very specific thing. Like a common example is probably in your relationship. You've probably you've done this or your partner's done this where they go, "Oh, you always do this. You always act like this. You always react like this." Like these big sweeping generalizations that are just not true. I'm going to be blunt here. I'm bad for this one. I do that a lot, but I catch myself and I question it in my head. Is this actually true? No, this is just me trying to be extra mean to try and prove a point when like you're in a relationship. The point of a relationship is not to prove points, but like you get what I mean. Like overgeneralizations going like I said, but I didn't lose weight this week, so nothing is working, et cetera, et cetera. You have to like reframe this, right? Just each attempt taught me what doesn't work, right? I use this example all the time. You don't always fail. You do continuously find methods that might not be working for you. Not after a week. If you haven't lost weight in a week, that is not that is not good. That is not the timeline in which to use to accurately measure what is and isn't working. It's like 6 weeks or more. If you hit a plateau for like 3 to 6 weeks, then maybe you got to start relooking at things. But regardless, I use this example all the time of Thomas Edison. When he created the light bulb, he went through 10,000 failed prototypes before he finally came across the one that worked. And when he was asked about it, he said, "Hey, What kept you going after all those failures? And his reply was, I never failed. I never once failed. I just simply found 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. You haven't failed. You haven't failed dozens of times like you believe you have. You've just simply found ways that haven't worked for you. That's it. Focus on now. This is a fresh start. And you're going to start with a better approach, something more sustainable, right? Next, this is a big one, labeling. Labeling. Assigning negative labels to yourself. I am lazy because I didn't work out today, or I couldn't hit my step goal. God, I'm just so lazy, or I didn't stick to my plan this week. God, I'm such a failure. I'm putting labels on myself like lazy, failure, right? I'm putting all these labels on myself because that's how the brain works. The brain likes to be able to put things into buckets and compartmentalize and label things as good or bad or black and white or like clean or dirty or lazy or not lazy, disciplined or lazy, motivated or blah, blah, blah. We love labeling things and we do that all the time, right? We have to separate your identity from action. Because, yeah, maybe you had a lazy day, but having one lazy day does not make you lazy. So now let's reframe that into a way of empowerment. I have control over my choices moving forward. Next, magnification and minimization. Basically blowing mistakes out of proportion or minimizing your wins, right? And this is a huge one. This one is something I don't think any of these have made me face palm more as a coach than this one. I lost 5 pounds this month, but that's not good enough. I should be losing 7, right? Or like I missed one meal prep this week, so it's a complete disaster. Or I walk for 30 minutes every single day, but that's not a real workout, so it doesn't count. Right? It's minimizing your wins. It's overblowing the negatives while also minimizing your successes. And this is something that I think a lot of adults, and from my experience, especially a lot of men, but a lot of women as well, tend to struggle with this, is that they just brush off their victories. They brush off the successes, and because they're like, yeah, but it's not enough. I had help, so it doesn't count, or it wasn't good enough, right? It's all, and they constantly keep moving the goalpost, and so they're never satisfied. But by doing this, by blowing these out of proportion, we create these intense negative feelings. So of course, negative emotions come with that, and so emotional eating, right? So here's what we have to do: we have to celebrate wins. Every pound loss is proof that you're on the right path. Every single one of them. When someone's like, man, like when somebody was struggling to lose weight before, like they were gaining weight or they were stagnant, not losing weight at all, and they're like, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. And then they lose 3 pounds and they're like, yeah, but that wasn't enough. I was like, are you kidding? You weren't losing anything at all, and now you're upset with 3 pounds in the right direction. Come on. And that's what I mean. We get so attached to these things. We have these crazy expectations that we need to be losing a lot of weight really fast all the time. If we're not losing 5 pounds a month, then we are doing it wrong. And it's like, it's crazy. You're going in the right direction. And why are we talking about speed? Do you have a deadline? Why do you have a deadline? We don't need a deadline. It's a lifestyle, not a diet, right? This is the thing people keep saying, but nobody wants to treat it that way. You have to treat it that way. It's a lifestyle, meaning this is something that goes on to the day you die. You don't just like get healthy and then like brush it off and then go back to what you're doing before and expect it to stick around. That's not how that works. We're adopting a new lifestyle so you can become the version of yourself that deserves to live at that weight loss, that deserves to get what they're after, right? So celebrate every single win, every pound loss. Reflect. This is actually why I talk about with my one-on-one clients. Reflect on your wins every single night. Take 5 minutes. Be like, what are the biggest wins for my day? This is why focusing on actions matters a lot more than the outcome. A lot of the times people are like, I want to lose 30 pounds. Like I said at the beginning, I want to lose 30 pounds. If I lose 30 pounds, I'll be happy. But then they only fixate on the 30 pounds and they don't put nearly enough energy towards the actions that get them that result, right? I'm going to make sure I'm getting my steps in, getting my fiber in, eating my fruits and vegetables, reducing junk food, reducing the ultra processed food, trying to increase more whole natural foods, getting my protein in, all these sort of things, getting my exercise in. The actions that create the outcome, but instead people go, oh, I only lost 1 pound. Oh God, I still have 29 more to go. What's the point, right? And this is the reticular activating system that I talk about that I've talked about before, and that's the idea that where focus goes, energy flows, and action follows focus. And so, if you're focusing on the negative or you're downplaying the positive, what's going to happen is you're teaching your brain that that's important, that it's important to do that, and so it's going to do that more and more often, and you're going to direct your energy towards those things. Action follows focus. So if you're focusing only on the negative, then you're going to act in accordance with that. And this is why so many people become a self-fulfilling prophecy, because they fixate on the negative and therefore they do negative. And then they beat themselves up feeling guilty and shameful. That's the problem, is that we're not taking the time to train our brain to focus on the positive. When people are saying, oh, you just be more positive. But that's what we're talking about. Being more positive is hard. It is so easy to fixate on the negative as human beings. It is biologically wired to in our brains to fixate on the negative. We don't need help being more negative, but we do need to be intentional with our time, being intentional with our energy to start intentionally focusing on the positive so that you can start training your brain to see more positive things in life. At the end of the day, we give yourself some compassion, give yourself permission. Like, I deserve to recognize my progress. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people don't talk about, is that we need to give ourselves permission to feel good about how far we've come. No matter how small we think we've come, no matter how little progress we think we've made, we need to give ourselves permission that it's okay to feel happy about it. That's probably one of the most powerful things you could ever do, is give yourself permission to feel good about your accomplishments, big or small. All of them matter. And then also remembering that I am a good person who's having a hard time, and that's okay. That's a new thing that I've started adopting a lot lately, especially after becoming a dad. Is, frustration from lack of sleep, but also I haven't been putting as much effort into this group as I would like, or the podcast as I would like, or in social media as much as I would like. And so it's really easy for me to fixate on all the negative shit that's going on in my life, and a lot of the stuff that I tell myself prevents me from doing what I should be doing. Um, Sometimes I just got to remind myself that I am a good person who's having a hard time, and that's okay. Next, going to emotional reasoning, believing feelings reflect reality, right? I feel fat, so I must not be making progress, or I feel like I haven't made progress, so I must not be improving, right? And this is really tough, because we tend to, as soon as we say I feel, then our brain is instantly going to recognize it as true, and we're going to immediately get attached to that emotional state. We're going to attach that emotion to that thing that we believe about ourselves. We have to separate feelings from facts. Feelings are not always facts. Feelings are not always true, right? What do my actions and measurements say? This is why we measure things, because what gets measured gets managed. What gets measured gets improved. This is why when a lot of the times, because here's the thing, weight fluctuations are normal. Like, the scale's supposed to go up and down. It's just supposed to trend downwards. So I use this story all the time when I was getting ready for my wedding. Basically, with a 4-day span, I dropped 3 pounds, gained 4, dropped 6, gained 3. Like, within a 4-day span. That's insane. Problem is, most people would have been ecstatic with that big drop at the beginning, but then they would have panicked like crazy when the scale bumped up, and they would have hit the panic button, hit the bucket button, and went off the rails because, hey, I gained all this weight overnight. Clearly I fucked up. I screwed up so bad. I might as well just keep screwing up, et cetera, et cetera. Right. But none of that was true. Because if I looked at it, my diet didn't change. I ate the exact same thing during that entire week, the exact same meals at the exact same time. So, what are the facts? My diet didn't change at all, which means the weight fluctuations have nothing to do with body fat. Something's going on that made me retain more water. That's it. But that's what happens is I feel like I fucked up, and therefore I'm going to, again, action follows focus. If I focus and I fixate on what I feel, then I'm going to go act in accordance with that. So if I feel like I screwed up, then I'm going to go act in accordance with that and prove myself right. So challenge those emotions. Why do I feel this way? And is it even valid to begin with? Or rather, all emotions are valid. I should kind of rephrase this. Like, your emotions are valid. How you feel is valid, but they're not always based in reality. And because they're not based in reality, your thoughts about what's going on created these emotions, even if your thought was not based in reality. But because of that, your thoughts dictate emotions, right? So if we think a certain way, we're going to feel a certain way. And your emotions will always follow your thoughts. And so if you're thinking you're a failure, if you're thinking you're fat, if you're thinking this, if you're thinking that, then you're going to basically reinstate that, reinforce that belief by acting in accordance with it. So we need to stop, collect ourselves, focus on facts, challenge the emotions. Emotions lie to you all the time. So ask yourself, is this true? What facts do I have? Did I actually screw up yesterday? And is that why my weight jumped today? No, I didn't screw up yesterday. I ate exactly according to plan. Great. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to trust the process. Right. Next, fortune telling, predicting failure without evidence, such as I'll never reach my goal. Right. Fortune telling is another cognitive distortion, predicting failures without evidence. I'll never reach my goals, right? So control the narrative. The future is never written in stone, and you have the power to shape it. Focus on today. What can I do now to move closer to my goal? Again, focusing on actions, not feelings. Actions, not the outcome. Actions, not the overall goal. Because the only way to guarantee that you fail is if you quit. It's the only way. It's the only way to guarantee that you don't get what you're after. So stop fortune telling, stop projecting into the future, stop trying to catastrophize these things. Control the narrative again. The future is not written, it's not certain. You have the power through your actions that you choose every day to create the life you want. Emotions lie to you all the time. So focus on today. What are the actions you can take? Next, and the next one is my favorite. By favorite, I mean least favorite, because this one pisses me off in no end. And that's blaming. I can't lose weight because my partner always brings junk food into the house, or I haven't been consistent because work is too busy and it's not my fault, or I have 2 kids, so I can't focus on my health. Oh boy, this one's a biggie. This one's loaded. And I always get pushback for this one too. But you got to take ownership, got to take responsibility. Like, you are responsibility for your actions, no one else. No one else has any say of what food goes in your mouth. No one's forcing you to eat a certain way. You're an adult who's fully capable of cooking their own meals. I dare you to go to your kids, kneel down to their face, put your hand on their shoulder and be like, hey, Billy Bob, because of you, I can't be healthy. Because you exist, because you came into my life, I can't live to my full potential. You see how stupid that sounds? Where you point the blame finger, the power goes to control your life. So point that finger in the mirror. Point that finger in the mirror because, hey, as busy mom or busy dad, put yourself in your children's shoes. Like, sit down and be like, hey, ask yourself, would you have rather had a mom and dad who had a better or worse relationship with food? Better or worse relationship with themselves, with each other, with their stress, with the scale, with food, with their own emotions. Like, if they had a better relationship with these things and passed those skills on to you, how much would you actually be struggling right now? You wouldn't be emotional eating. You wouldn't be stress eating. You wouldn't be panicking at the scale. You wouldn't be binge eating. Your cravings wouldn't really exist. You wouldn't be struggling with extremely restricted diets that always result in a rebound. You wouldn't have all these harsh rules around food and anxiety around food. And instead, you would have balance. You would have fat loss forever, sustainable lifestyle, increased longevity, better emotional regulation skills, better stress management skills, and zero social anxiety around food. No more weight regain. And you'd have this effortless confidence about you. You'd be able to set the best example for your kids, the ones who depend on you to teach them how to navigate life. So I ask you, whose fault is it? It's not your kids, it's yours. You have a chance to break that cycle so you can be that for your children. You have the opportunity to do that. Now, again, it's important to have some self grace. I'm doing my best, and my effort is what matters. I am a good person who's having a hard time. I am a good dad who's having a hard time. I'm a good mother just having a hard time. Give yourself that permission. Give yourself that grace. But do not blame anyone but yourself. Next, discounting the positive. Similar to what we've done before, but again, ignoring achievements. Like, sure, I've lost weight, but it doesn't count because it wasn't hard enough. Because here's the thing, people think that weight loss has to be a struggle. People think that weight loss has to be hard and grueling and like it's some sort of big epic challenge they have to overcome. But no, like weight loss is actually relatively simple. You're making it difficult, right? Weight loss is simple. Eat less, move more. It is that simple. Now, that advice isn't great because there's a lot of nuance to it, but at the end of the day, you need to eat less food or move more, burn more calories, right? And so the idea is like, sure, yeah. Why is this? Why is it because it wasn't grueling? That it wasn't some sort of big epic mountain to climb? That it means it wasn't worth it or wasn't hard enough? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to be hard. Like, or another one is like, yeah, I drank water all week, but that's not a big deal. It's what I'm supposed to do. Like, yes, no shit. It's what you're supposed to do. Why are we saying it like that's a bad thing? Like, I got stronger in the gym, but that doesn't matter since I don't look toned yet. Like, okay, but like you need to start lifting weights, get stronger in order to get toned. So you did the thing you're supposed to do. Again, stop discounting the positive. Acknowledge your wins, acknowledge your effort. Every win, big or small, is progress, right? So flip the narrative. It is amazing that I've made it easier through building smarter habits. I have made this like, yeah, the weight loss wasn't hard because I did the groundwork. I laid the foundation of my lifestyle that made it effortless. That's incredible. That's amazing. And that's exactly what we should be doing. Next, mind reading. How far are we? Oh, we've got two more. Two more. Okay. Mind reading. Assuming others judge them without any evidence, right? Or everyone in the gym thinks I don't belong here, or that person at the gym is staring at me. They probably think I look ridiculous and like, as why am I even here? Or my family keeps offering me dessert. They don't, or so they must not believe in me or my goals. Here's the thing, and here's something that hopefully you understand. When was the last time you stood there and just judged everyone around you in public? When was the last time you stood there and just made these disgusting, overly judgmental accusations about people? Probably not as often as not very often. Everyone's like that. Everyone is in their own little world, worried so much about what other people are thinking about them, but they're so involved in their own world that they're not giving you much of a second thought. So challenge those assumptions. Most people are focused on themselves, not you. And again, this is where like having a confidence mantra, like a thing that you say when you feel a certain way, this mantra, right? When you feel this gym anxiety around all these people, confidence mantra, like I belong here because I'm showing up for myself. I'm showing up for myself, which means I'm showing up for my friends, my family, those who love me and who I love. Me being here allows me to be my best version for them. Have this mantra. I belong here because I'm showing up for myself. And remember that everyone started off where you are now. Everyone started off struggling. Everyone started off scratching their head trying to figure it out. No matter what position you're in, but we always seem to think that other people are judging us. We seem to think that other people are thinking about us all the time. Are we really that selfish, or we think that we're the center of everyone's world? Like, it doesn't work that way. We don't spend so much time thinking about other people because we're thinking about ourselves, where we're trying to go. Oh, I got this appointment to get to. I got to get to the gym. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. No one's thinking about you. No one, except your loved ones. But that's a good thing. But the people around you in public are not thinking about you as much as you think they're thinking about you, because they're too worried thinking about you, thinking about them. They think the exact same thing you do. They're worried about the exact same things you're worried about, but to them instead of you. So don't worry about it. Next, and this one is the last one. These are should statements. Guys, stop shoulding yourself. So this is basically placing rigid expectations on yourselves. Like, I should be losing weight faster. I should be able to lose 2 pounds every week, or I'm not doing it right. Or I shouldn't need help from a coach. I should be able to figure this out on my own. Settle your expectations, my friend. Settle them. Progress takes time, and you're doing what you can. Focus on effort and actions. What matters is that you're showing up and staying consistent. And you're trying to get 1% better every day. That's it. Stop shooting yourself. The brain is extraordinarily complex. In fact, the brain is the most complex thing humans have ever discovered in the entire known universe. When you say, I shouldn't need help from a coach, why? Do you know mechanics? Do you go to a mechanic to fix your car, or do you do it yourself? Do you build your own computers, or do you go buy one someone else has made? Do you make your own shoes, or do you go buy one someone else has made? Like, you see the point? Do you do your own taxes, or do you get or hire somebody to do it for you? Like, there's so many things in life that we outsource to other people to do for us. So what's wrong with this? Especially when we're talking about something as complex as the human mind. So, with all that being said, now that we've uncovered these common cognitive distortions, you might be realizing just how much your thoughts and beliefs can really impact your journey. These patterns of thinking can be so ingrained, but the truth is they're not permanent. As always, awareness is the first step towards breaking free from self sabotage and creating the results you've been working so hard for. The key takeaway in all of this is your thoughts shape your reality. I talked about it in the beginning, but Dr. Joseph Dispenza, in his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, he talks about how in order to achieve real internal change that lasts a lifetime, you must come to a new understanding of yourself in relation to your reality and the world around you that you can have new experiences with, or even revisit old experiences with a new perspective. He also talks about how your shortfalls can be boiled down to one thing. And that is, your thoughts have consequences so great that they literally shape your reality. And that is your personality, right? Your personal reality is your personality. And your thoughts create that. It is your thoughts that create your personality, your personal reality. And then Tony Robbins also talks about the fact that no one experiences life and reality as it is. People only experience the reality they focus on. Where focus goes, energy flows, and action follows focus. When you reframe these negative distortion patterns into empowering truths, you gain control over your progress, your mindset, and your future. So here's my challenge for you. If you've been watching this far, first off, thank you so much. I know that we've been going for about 50 minutes now, almost an hour. So I want to thank you, because that's time you're never going to get back. And the fact that you spent it watching me, I never take that lightly. So thank you so much. But here's my challenge for you. What is one distortion that you've recognized today? And how are you going to reframe it for your own life to succeed in your own journey? Share it in the chat or comment below if you're watching the replay. And if you're ready to dive deeper into how into how your mindset, nutrition, and fitness come together, I'd love to guide you further. So whether it's going through personal coaching or you just need some resources, or you just want to have someone in your corner, someone to chat with, because I love giving free advice, free information. I'm here to create sustainable, life-changing results. So with that being said, have yourself a wonderful night. This is Mr. Krister signing off. Thank you so much. Take care.